I'd like to call tonight's meeting of the Deer Valley Governing Board to order at 7 p.m. Let the roll call show. All members are present, save Ms. Simichek, who is absent. Dr. Z, could you lead us in Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Do I have a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
So moved.
In a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mrs. Taylor. Next item on the agenda, item number 2, Dr. Pack.
I move that the governing board approve minutes for the regular meeting board held June 24th, 2025. There we go. I move that the governing board approve consent agenda items 2A through 2M.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Next item on the agenda, item 3A, Dr. Pack.
I move that the governing board approve all employee professional development out of state per governing board policy GCCE.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mrs. Taylor. Next item 3B, Dr. Pack.
I move that the governing board accept the administration's recommendation to pre-approve the addenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Botfield. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mrs. Taylor. Any members from the public to speak tonight? No. No. All right. Next item on the agenda, item 5A, Governing Board Reports, Mrs. Fisher.
Okay, I'll do it quick so that we can have like a record meeting. Sorry, I didn't have that on. I'll do it quick so we have a record meeting. First, I want to thank Mr. Carver for doing a base message from the governing board. It was nice to at least have one for the first time, I think, in many years. It had complete sentences and punctuation. Those are good things. I had a couple of concerns, though. If we could... our teachers take a lot of pride in setting up their rooms. It read to me that we were setting up rooms, or we were preparing rooms. Some of our teachers take great pride in what they do in their rooms. So I would kind of take that out, because they prepare their rooms, they get their stuff together, they get it ready. Thank them for the work they're about to do. I've had a few teachers drag me in and staple stuff to boards and whatnot, and it's a lot of work. They go through a lot, so I would remove that. Secondly, and I know you may or may not want to remove it, when it talks about, them being our family and whatnot. In 2.5 years, there has not been a single complaint brought by an employee, a teacher, or a community member that has been heard or addressed. They've all been ignored or dismissed. I just ask that you take a little bit of that down a little bit. Don't give them a false hope that the board will be there for them, because the last 2.5 years have shown that it will not, at least not at this time. But that's the only suggestions that I have for that document. The other thing I did want to talk about is these Friday updates. We've had our attorney say that they are public records. We've had a pushback that they're not public records, unless somebody sues us. That debate is not going to be answered. The problem is, and there's a growing concern in reading them, if you go 2 of them back, you know, when we have a meeting and we talk about something, or somebody comes to a meeting or something is brought forward, lo and behold, it always ends up in a spin in the Friday update. Generally, it's disparaging to whoever came forward, or the employee, or what have you. I'm assuming we all get the same complaints, whether they're about employees or about whoever. It doesn't make a difference. I really have a problem with the spin. I really do. The other thing is that there's a repeated discussion line that tends to talk about our enrollment. The reality is we are in declining enrollment, and we are in a hyper-growth environment. There's not a reason our enrollment should be as declined as it is, and we really need to maybe take a look at the reasons. I am a little concerned. We've always had the giving closet. It's always been a positive thing. It's always vital. I mean, every school district I've worked for has had one. It's always our teachers. We're always serving our kids. I'm saddened that the teachers who began it, and the counselors and whatnot, have lost access to it. I just really think that needs to be returned to them. And I think we need to make sure that we're honoring them. And that's, I'm just going to drop it at that. And then the final one, since I have less than a minute, I was a little, I just read the Friday update today. I was a little upset to see the email I sent in to Dr. Galligan in there. That was not an email as a board member, just so you are aware. It was a professional email as an administrator. And I don't mind that the information is shared with the board. If you want to see the information I got from multiple other districts, I'm happy to give it to you without the context of the reason I'm asking, which you wouldn't have unless you're doing my job. It doesn't matter. But if the administration wants to make sure that they put everything that I put in there, or any question, I would appreciate if they did the same with all board members, because I hear about all this stuff going on and we never hear it in the reports. And that's it.
Well done. Thank you, Mrs. Fisher. Mr. Botfeld?
When I was elected to this board, I received a good piece of advice from Kim Fisher. She said, tell the truth and back it up with facts. Unfortunately, those who oppose the override on land sale often argue with incorrect data and misinformation. Among the pushback comments I've received recently are, DVUSD schools have failed to improve student outcomes. The truth is that DVUSD's four-year graduation rate ending in June was 95.3%. That's 16.8 percentage points higher than the state average. The percentage of students that passed state assessments last year exceeded the state's average by 13 points in math, 11 points in English, and 18 points in science. Another piece of inaccurate information was this. The money goes to administrator, not teachers or classrooms. DVUSD spent 72.5% of its fiscal '24 budget on classroom spending, a category of spending that includes instruction, student support, and instructor support. That is above similar very large unified school districts in Arizona. The last point I'll deal with is this. Private schools offer better options for our children's needs. Not necessarily. Consider these crucial points. 1, private schools aren't required to take state tests. 2, they're not required to make finances, costs, student progress, or anything else public. 3, DVUSD is audited by the Arizona Auditor General and publishes its budget on the website dvusd.org. DVUSD offers 50 award-winning career technical education programs that assist high school students in being career ready after graduation. Thursday, July 17th, that's 2 days from today, and just across the way in Aspire at 6 p.m., next door, is the DVUSD Override Election Volunteers Meeting. The override helps pay a portion of every DVUSD teacher salary, approximately 8.5%, and ensures that we maintain full-day kindergarten, electives, and extracurricular activities. It funds counselors, nurses, and other vital support staff. It helps keep class sizes manageable and protects about 10% of school and department budgets. Without it, the quality of education across DVUSD is at risk. The land sale. By the way, we have approximately 20,000 new housing units going into this district over the next 2.5 to 4 years. I'm going to conclude by saying this. State laws allowed vouchers which account for 50% of the state's budget deficit. ESA vouchers can be used for almost anything, including going to Europe, etc. We need to fix that. And on that note, I yield.
Thank you, Mr. Budfeld. Dr. Pack?
So I've been spending my time healing and recovering, but also doing a lot of reading on the website, poking around places I hadn't been to before. I want to thank members of the cabinet and Ms. Taylor for always being willing to answer my questions. I'm asking less questions, but I still, when there's a question, I ask it, and I think it's important to ask. So by the time we get here, we can have this meeting move along. So just so you know, when we approve it, it's not just a blanket approval. Somebody, at least me, has gone in and looked and checked everything. And sometimes it's a typo, and sometimes it's just something I don't understand and I'm learning. So just so you know, I like doing that, and I will continue to do that along with reading all the vouchers before I sign them. Again, I don't sign anything before I read it. I have to read it first. And so getting pretty good at doing that signature. And I will be visiting. I'm excited to visit 2 non-instructional buildings. One is the maintenance building, and one is the warehouse supply building. I'll be doing that next week, and so kind of get a tour of those buildings and see what's happening behind the scenes there. And just because I'm curious what's in that building, and you know, our district dollars go into those buildings, so I want to go see what's there. So a little field trip for me next week. That's it.
Thank you, Dr. Pack. Got just a couple of things this time around. So last week, actually the 2 previous weeks coming out of the July 4th holiday, the Glendale Police Department was running active shooter drills at Deer Valley High School. We offered them our campus so that we could have real-world application for their training. They could actually be in a school. Usually they would be down at the I don't want to say the firehouse, but the fire training facility. They share that building that is lit on fire for the firefighters with the firefighters, and sometimes that's not very conducive, and it's not very realistic to what they might actually experience if they went on a campus. This partnership that the administration has built with the Glendale PD really amplifies the safety and security that we put, how much we value the safety and security of the children, to allow them to actually run those drills on the campus, allow us to watch them, to see it, to film it. I know that we had local news crews out there so that the community could see what was going on and how the Glendale PD prepares for the unthinkable and hopefully something that would never possibly happen. For those of you that follow the district or myself or any one of the news channels on social media, you could watch some of the footage of the live drills as they went along. They actually fired blanks. They had bad guys. They had victims. They had the police department. They did training inside the classroom, and then they did actual individual training at doors of what it looks like to enter the room. What do you have to do to breach the room? What do you have to do to clear the room? But one of the most important things that I heard being said while I was there by one of the trainers is it only takes one person to end an active shooter situation. And his point there was that if you are the only person on site, you're not waiting for anybody else. You're not waiting for the dogs. You're not waiting for the drones. You're not waiting for SWAT. You enter the school and you follow the processes that they were teaching, that they were training to save as many lives as possible and to remove the threat. So that was amazing. There's talk of maybe going to Mountain Ridge next year so that they can experience a 2-story school. And we had folks from Phoenix PD come out and see what all the hubbub was about. And they were pretty excited to see what was going on. And that would be nice if we could get them to engage so that the rest of our high schools could benefit from that kind of training. And it's not so much so that the folks on the campuses benefit because they're not there, but for each member of the police department to have familiarity with the campus and how it's laid out is huge when it comes to time savings. Something else that I wanted to mention, now that we are in back to school mode and parents are scrambling frantically to try to get all the supplies and the clothes and the pencils and the pens, I was watching on social media with some of the exchanges. And first I want to say that there is no shortage of organizations out there, whether it's Annie's Closet or the dozens of faith-based organizations in the area that are doing back to school drives to make sure that every child has what it is that they need to go to school. But a caveat to that I want to mention is that please understand that when a supplies list is sent home, it's not a mandate. It's a request. The teacher is requesting that parents that can do this thing for the classroom, for the children. Anybody that's looked at those lists know that it encompasses much more than what your individual child will use, and those lists are written that way for a reason, because they know that not all 30-plus children are going to be able to supply, and each teacher has their own vision of what they want their classroom to look like that the school district isn't necessarily required to help facilitate. So these lists have things on there that, Clorox wipes and Kleenexes and all that kind of stuff, and those are the kind of things that the classrooms need to have. But again, if you're in a position where you can't, please don't feel any particular way about it. If you can take advantage of the helps that are out there in the community, please do. If you don't want to or can't, and you can't make it to the store, it's just not in the budget, please do not let that weigh heavy on your heart. Your children will be fine, and they'll get a good education at Deer Valley. That's all I've got.
Yes, Annie's Closet is available for supplies. Just email anniescloset@dvusd.org and we'll give you the things that you need for your student, including clothes, food, shoes, and supplies. So thanks for board members, and I know keeping an eyeball on the community is one of your jobs. So thanks for doing that, and that keeps us in the loop to families that we can help. So appreciate it. Keep your eyes and ears open, and where we can help, let us know. Since the last meeting, June 30th is when all our retirees head out, and July is when the new game starts. So all the training is going on right now. We had admin across the street here at the Aspire complex, and it was great to see those folks ready to go. Many of them are experienced administrators this lap, so that's kind of different, changes the training a little bit more. We have administrators coming from other districts and with experience, so that helps us a little bit on how we're really teaching them the Deer Valley way versus this is where you go to get this, that kind of thing. So it's more connections is what we're teaching and really what we stand for. Ms. Sheila put on this room was filled with 120 secretaries this afternoon or this morning as we're doing training there. She did a nice job with that. Her and Jeannie pull that off every year. Do a nice job. Our school day, first day of school is July 31st. So just a little note to yourself. Start getting to bed early here pretty soon. Build a cadence where you're getting to bed early because high school starts early. So if you don't start a week or two early, that first day is going to be a dragger. So start training yourself now. A lot of our sports teams are obviously already going, so they're up before the sun gets up. It gets too hot. They're out running around on the field. So if you want to see some kids having fun, hit any of your high schools in the morning. I usually do check in, see how they're doing. As you probably have heard, read the same newspaper I've been reading, the administration, federal administration, Department of Ed has held $6.5 billion title dollars. That is about 160 million, I believe, is Arizona, which is millions for us. So we've been banging on the doors in D.C. and then emailing, and because obviously that will impact us. So hopefully they're just making some noise and going to give us those dollars. They're already allocated. They'd already been approved by Congress and moved into law. So they basically have it frozen at the minute. The point that we try to tell them is that school starts in 2 weeks. So don't hang on to that for too long. I can carry staff for a little while, but if the money doesn't come in, then I'm going to have to make some tough choices soon. So if you have an ear of a Congress person, relay the same message for us. Appreciate it. We have a new IS&T person in the back room there helping us out. Since Gary went on to be the techie at the Supreme Court, Josh Wooten's back there with a student intern, so make sure you say hi to him. I also would be remiss if I didn't mention my anniversary usually falls on school board meeting nights, and it worked out. It was yesterday. So 35 years with Mrs. Finch, 35 years of getting bossed around, and that's worked out pretty good. I always get in the last word, it's yes, ma'am. So that's my wisdom to all the youngsters out there. Yes, ma'am works pretty good. Anything else I have on my schedule here? One last thing. We did, Mr. Botfield did a nice job recapping the successes of DVUSD. There isn't really any district in the state of our size that can compete athletically, academically, and with the fine arts. Some have parts of it, but nobody has the three-legged stool except for us. And so thanks for a little note there, and we appreciate the community's support as we build the best school district in all of Arizona. We'll see you at school in a couple weeks, July 31st. Next board meeting, August 12th.
Before I ask for a motion to adjourn, two things.
So moved.
So before I ask, Mrs. Taylor needs signatures from everybody before they leave. And to Mrs. Fisher's request to alter the welcome letter a little bit, in that paragraph, Mrs. Fisher will remove classrooms and, so this just campuses. The sentence was meant to reflect any capital improvements that have been done, and I could see where they could misunderstand and think that I'm trying to infringe on all the work they've done in their classrooms. So we'll just limit it to campuses. Would that be okay? Okay. If there's no further objections, we'll take that letter with those adjustments. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.